Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is A Strange Case of Sean, here with the second chapter of my story, New World Order, Undertaker. Yup, you heard that correctly. Two entities in professional wrestling came together in the WCW faction, the nWo, and the arrival of their newest acquisition, the Undertaker. This is a story written by me, with some assistance from ChatGPT. If you enjoy the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I appreciate all support. So how did this happen exactly? Well, here's a short recap of the first chapter. This story began at StarrCade in 1997, where Hollywood Hogan of the nWo defended the WCW World Heavyweight Championship against Sting, who would be fighting on behalf of WCW. After a controversial ending to the match, Bret Hart tried to restore order as the enforcer and tried to get the match restarted, but was ambushed by Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. They also took out Lex Luger, who tried to help Hart. The nWo was preparing to take out Sting once and for all when the lights went out and a familiar sound sounded in the arena. The lights came on to show a debuting Mark Calaway in the center of the ring. The audience and commentators lost their minds while the nWo stood in shock. Then, in another shocking moment, Hogan smiled and put Sting's bat down, leaving Calaway to pick it up. He then attacked Sting with his own bat and revealed himself to be a member of the nWo, and the crowd turned on him. They continued their attack on the WCW faithful. Hogan celebrated with Calaway, but something didn't feel right. Nash and Hall smiled with devious grins, leaving Hogan to becoming confused. Calaway then attacked Hogan, leaving jaws dropped all around. Hall and Nash then joined in on the attack. Calaway then delivered a tombstone piledriver to Hogan on a steel chair. The show would end with a mixed sense of shock, dread, and uncertainty. The world of professional wrestling felt they deserved answers for what they had just witnessed, and with Monday Night Nitro the next night, they weren't going to need to wait much longer. And with that said, let's get started, shall we? The flagship show of WCW begins with the crowd chanting for Mark Calaway, aka The Undertaker. The music of the nWo begins to play, and emerging from the entrance is none other than Executive Vice President of WCW and Executive Representative of the nWo, Eric Bischoff, walking out with the nWo tagged WCW World Championship. His demeanor is normal, but his smile fades in and out as he makes his way to the ring. He grabs a microphone and begins to talk. Well, it seems to me that the world of professional wrestling is sort of in shambles at the moment. I mean, there could be a few reasons why. One could be that we just came off of WCW's greatest pay-per-view in history, thanks to me. Another could be the lackluster and possible poor investment that is Bret the Hitman Hart. Oh, another could be the detrimental decline of ratings of other wrestling shows on broadcast television due to very poor booking and budgeting decisions. But probably the biggest reason is your WCW World Heavyweight Champion not being present with us in the ring. Yes, Hollywood Hogan retained this World Heavyweight Championship against that goofy clown that WCW thought really could save them from the nWo. But as you may be able to tell, Hogan is not with us. You see, strong leadership is the foundation for continued success, especially in our business. Now you, WCW, may lack that, but that doesn't mean that we can't upgrade ours. So yes, Hollywood Hogan has been axed, fired, given the pink slip, gone from the nWo, gone from the WCW. And something tells me that he's currently incapable of providing that leadership to us anyhow. The crowd boos. Eric continues. So again, you're welcome. Strong leadership eliminates their competition and works tirelessly to improve their regime. And we, the nWo, did just that. And again, who do you have to thank? Well, his name is Eric. The lights go out on Bischoff and the crowd cheers. After a brief pause, the nWo music then begins to play. Mark Calaway then makes his entrance with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash behind him. They enter the ring and join Eric Bischoff, who applauds their arrival. The music fades out and Bischoff begins to talk. And now the secret is out of the bag. The newest signing of the nWo. You know who he is. He is Mark Calloway snatches the microphone from Bischoff. The crowd cheers. Calloway slowly raises the microphone and begins to talk. The contract reads the name he was about to say, but that is not the name you will refer to me as. You will call me by the name you know, the name that has struck fear into many. A deal was made with the devil that doesn't benefit them. They no longer own me. They lost their enforcer. They lost their reaper. They lost their Undertaker. The crowd cheers. Bischoff tries to cut off Taker, but Taker puts his hand to Eric's chest and gently pushes him aside. Taker continues. And I dare the devil to strike me down. They shall fail just as they seem to be doing now. Bischoff puts his head down with a worrisome look. Taker continues. I will represent that strong leadership Eric was talking about. I will lead the nWo towards our ultimate goal of destroying the WCW. The WCW should prepare to meet its end. They should get ready to meet the King of Terrors. And to all that will oppose us, the soil is welcome to all. The nWo members clap behind him. Taker continues, but now turns his attention to the nWo. He begins again. Now you saw the weakness that was in your former leader. You saw the weakness was transparent enough to act on it. Hell, it's why I got the call. You told me about your hesitations about taking the action we did last night. But let me make something clear. I will not show the same hesitation if you falter in our mission to dismantle this promotion. Like I said, the soil is welcome to all. Taker hands the mic back to Bischoff. Bischoff begins to talk. Now that we, the nWo, are in our strongest regime we've ever been in, we need to address who will be holding this WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Now, technically, the nWo is entitled to keep this championship. So it is only in good faith and in sport I award this championship to you, Undertaker. Bischoff hands the championship to Taker, who then holds the title in the air as the group applauds him. Taker puts his hand out for the microphone again. Now, this is only one piece to the puzzle. We are looking to dismantle the WCW. To do that, we need to take all of what it values. We need to take what they think belongs to them and bury them once and for all. Suddenly, the music of Bret Hart plays. The crowd cheers. Bret Hart and Lex Luger make their way to the top of the entrance ramp, looking at the nWo, disgusted. Bret begins to talk. I'm out here with Lex because we want to show the WCW what it's like to have a spine and to stand up to these good-for-nothing bullies. I'll never understand why my role as enforcer last night meant nothing, but now I'm out here as a competitor, as a fighter, and as a challenger. The crowd cheers. So big, scary Undertaker, or should I say Vince McMahon's former, I'm challenging you for that WCW championship. Bischoff responds immediately. Bret. That's not how any of this works. You may have beaten jobbers since you were in your daddy's wrestling company, but you actually have to wrestle and earn championship matches on your own. The crowd boos. Luger then begins to speak. Actually, Bischoff, for your information, I earned a tag team championship title opportunity last week, and my partner is out with an injury. So I'm selecting the Hitman to take his place. And we want that match tonight. The crowd cheers. Taker then turns to Bischoff and whispers something into his ear. Bischoff nods and then responds. Okay, Lex, sure. You and the Hitman can have your tag team title match tonight against the Steiner brothers. But I think this match needs a bit more personality. So I'm going to add my boys Hall and Nash to that match, and that'll be your main event tonight. The tag team championship match is made official for the main event. Then the Giant makes his way to the top of the ramp and joins Hart and Luger. Luger hands him the mic and he begins to talk. I don't care what name you go by. I want that championship, and I will tear apart the nWo one by one to get my chance. So big man, what's it gonna be? Fight me one-on-one or take you all out? Eric goes to respond, but Taker stops the mic. He then grabs the mic and responds to the Giant. Big mouth on a big guy. You know what? You got it. But not tonight. We'll fight this week on Thunder. See you there. The match is made official. We then move on to the main event of Monday Nitro, the WCW Tag Team Championship match. That'll see Scott Hall and Kevin Nash of the nWo taking on Bret Hart and Lex Luger, taking on the WCW Tag Team Champions, Rick and Scott Steiner. The match kicks off with high energy as one member of each team jockeyed to get an early advantage. Nash is able to gain that advantage by giving big boots to Rick and Lex. Lex tags in Bret as he nurses a possible injury after the big boot. Bret begins to diligently break down Nash's legs. He then switches to crisp mat wrestling, grounding Rick with technical holds and controlling the pace. Rick is able to tag in his brother, who comes in with power-based offense, delivering clotheslines and slams to Bret and Nash. Once tagged in, Scott Hall slows the pace, using his signature swagger and underhanded tactics to frustrate both opponents and fans. Bret tags in Luger, but he's quickly cornered by Hall and isolates him with heavy stomps. Scott fires back with multiple suplexes on Hall. Rick then returns and begins delivering double-team moves to Hall and Luger, regaining control with a mix of brute strength and brotherly timing. Nash then re-enters the ring and takes down both Steiner brothers. Hart then delivers a crossbody to Nash, taking him back down to the mat. The match devolves into chaos as all six men end up in the ring at once, trading signature moves and near falls in rapid succession. The closing moments of the match begin as the Steiners hit the Steinerizer on Luger. The referee is too close to the wrestlers and gets taken out. Hall sees the opportunity and exits the ring to go grab a chair, but Nash holds Rick for too long and he breaks away, resulting in Hall accidentally hitting his own partner. That critical misstep gave the Steiners the opening they needed. Scott pushes Nash out of the ring while Rick capitalized on Hall's confusion and delivers a massive shoulder tackle. Hall gets back up, but he's then hit with a Steiner screwdriver from Scott Steiner. The referee is back and counts to 3, awarding the victory to the Steiner brothers. The camera shows Taker and Eric Bischoff looking at the screen, showing a disappointed Nash. Taker then walks away. Eric covers his face with his hands. On this week's Thunder, Bischoff speaks with Randy Savage and Kurt Hennig backstage. He begins. Look, this change is a great move. Monday didn't go exactly the way we planned, but tonight will be different. Tonight, Taker silences all the doubts and concerns and proves why it was a good move to bring him into the nWo. But just know that after Taker quickly disposes of the Giant, he's going to be looking closely at memberships. Talk to you both later. Eric then walks down the hallway. He then looks confused. What the hell are you doing here? A commercial then airs. The main event of WCW Thunder sees the World Heavyweight Championship being defended with The Undertaker taking on the Giant. The match begins with a stare down, the crowd roaring as these two behemoths size each other up in the center of the ring. The Giant overpowers early, using his size and brute strength to shove Undertaker across the ring, and then delivering a series of punishing chops to him in the corner. Undertaker weathers the storm and counters with a big boot and an old school, drawing a huge reaction from the crowd. Momentum swings back and forth, with both men trading slams, big boots, and near falls that showcase their resilience and power. Undertaker then attempts a chokeslam, but the Giant breaks free and lands a thunderous one of his own, nearly scoring the win. The Giant argues with the referee, which leads Taker to do his trademark slow rise. Undertaker then hits a DDT. He then signals for the tombstone, but Giant reverses and sets up for a second chokeslam. Suddenly, the lights flicker and then go out for several seconds. The lights come back on to show Taker's former manager, Percy Pringle, on the apron, calling out to Taker. The referee tries to get Percy to get off of the apron, leaving his back to the match. The Giant shouts over the referee at Percy. Taker turns him around, but then eats a massive headbutt. The Giant then signals for another chokeslam, but is then attacked in the back by a masked figure. The Giant does not go down. The Giant goes for a clothesline, but they duck and the Masked Man hits his own clothesline to him. He then picks up the Giant and delivers his own chokeslam. The Masked Man exits the ring in another familiar fashion. With the referee distracted and the Giant indisposed, The Undertaker rises again. He then capitalized on the situation by lifting the Giant up and nailing a tombstone pile driver in the center of the ring. The referee returns his attention to the match and counts to 3. Taker retains the WCW Championship and raises the title in victory, along with reuniting with Percy. The commentators are confused, asking where the hell did Percy Pringle come from? Who is that 7-foot masked man? What has come of the nWo? All good questions indeed. Questions that will hopefully be answered in the next chapter. Thank you for watching. Stay strange, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.